and welcome to the first ever Toasty Take podcast, brought to you by the Branson Sports Broadcasting Network. I'm Alec. I'm the host of this new podcast I've formed in affiliation with the network. Thank you to BSBN for allowing me to do this. Today on our first episode, I've brought in Aidan, Demian, and Hoffman. We're going to discuss some Branson sports, which everybody loves to hear about, and then more importantly, we're going to talk about what a great last week it's been in sports. We've had Tiger Woods come back, some college football, an extravaganza, I would call it. NFL playoffs coming around the corner. So we've got a lot to talk about. And Aidan, Brooks, welcome.
Thank you, Alec. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you for having me on, Alec. I'm excited to get going. Hopefully we can go into the future with this.
Yeah, this is something I tried to do last year on my own, but I got some people listening to my college basketball podcast. Anyways, we'll start off this Toasty Take talking about some Branson sports. First off, we're going to talk to Brooks about soccer. They've got an important game today, an important fixture, as they call it.
Very important fixture.
An important fixture, as they call it, versus Marin Academy. You guys had a good win last week, or two weeks? Last week against Cardinal Newman.
Yep. So this weekend we played our first MCAL game. Played our first game kind of as a full team. We were missing a lot of guys for the Cardinal Newman game. Still came up on top.
Why were you missing guys for the Cardinal Newman game? Can you tell me?
Yeah. So we had Jack Singer, our Cal committed player, playing goalkeeper.
The superstar.
The superstar.
Yeah.
We were playing goalkeeper. Callan was out, and Jack was playing goalkeeper because Oliver Selman and I were given red cards at the last game of last season.
I just wanted to clarify that for everyone in the media.
It was a very
tough.
And also a shout out to @Shots by Yaga Boy if you guys haven't checked him out yet. Great.
It's Shots X Yaga Boy.
Yeah. Okay, well,
excuse me.
Anyways,
so we were missing guys, missing me, Callan, Jack, and Ollie. Still came up on top. So on Saturday we played Terra Linda on our first MCAL match, and it was the first time we had really all been on the field together playing a new formation. We were playing really well. We outplayed them, more possession, more shots, but ended up being 0-0. Just couldn't find the back of the net. And another shocking incident happened at the end of that game. We were given another red card. So for the last 15 minutes, we were playing with 10 men. And I think if we had 11, we definitely would have broken through because we had the momentum going our way. So now we are missing Juancho Tiriot for our matchup today against Marin Academy at 3:15 at College of Marin.
So the soccer team sounds like they're the team of red cards.
Yeah.
This is I don't know if this is a trend, if it's a culture thing. It's
So-
just something we can investigate into. Clearly something's going on.
Yeah, so I want to so there is a rule in MCAL that's been adopted the last 3 years that any swear word on the soccer field is given an automatic red card. Doesn't matter if it's at yourself, obviously if it's at another player or the ref, it's understandable. But actually in the Terra Linda game, that was the first time
I heard it was a swear word in a foreign
Spanish,
language.
Yes, in Spanish.
In a foreign language. So when I heard this, I laughed a little bit. I felt bad for Juancho, for the soccer team losing an important piece in such an important fixture today against Marin Academy. But, when I heard it was in Spanish, I laughed because you got to give the ref some credit for knowing Spanish.
He was a Latino-based referee.
I think that might have helped him, but you got to give him some credit. I'm sure, inexperienced officials that we have in the MCAL these days that, he probably has heard that word a couple times and, you just had to show him the red.
So just one more thing about the red cards. We have been the culprit of a lot of red cards, and obviously it's not a very good thing. It's hard to defend, but to our defense, this was the first red card given where there was a swear word said that was directed at anybody else. The rest of the times have been swear words.
I don't want to hear the excuses.
It's not an excuse.
I don't want to hear the excuses.
This one was a real red card, and it deserved to be given. But we're just going to keep moving on. He's suspended for one game, and he'll be back for our next MCAL game against Justin Siena.
And that should be a blowout.
Well, we hope. They do have 2 international players this year, and apparently they're a little bit better. But we'll see how it goes.
Interesting. Well, that's very good to hear. Aidan, we're going to talk about basketball now.
What's up, y'all?
Basketball team just came back from Boonville.
Oh, yeah.
Would you like... So, most people always, joke about Boonville.
Nothing
just because
to joke about.
it's such an obscure location. You probably couldn't find it on a map.
No, you couldn't.
Would you like to tell us... Nobody really cares what happened in the basketball part. Can you just tell us about Boonville?
First off, for all those who don't know, Boonville's a great time for us basketball folk. We go up there, get away from the pressures of Branson and Marin. It's a nice little escape for us, just to focus on some hoop. Get to go to Walmart, buy some new sweaters. You can see the basketball boys wearing some new sweaters from Walmart.
Yeah, they are. They are wearing them out today.
Oh yeah,
we had ones with llamas, dinosaurs. We had a lizard one, I believe. We also had some big fat Santa
all shapes
ones.
and sizes from Boonville.
Yeah, check out at the boys Branson basketball Instagram for a picture if you would like to see them later on. Anyways,
tis the season.
Tis the season. Yes. So Boonville's an awesome place, a lot of fun. It's in the middle of the Anderson Valley, right?
Beautiful area.
Don't you buy the Anderson Valley
Where
Brewery
is the
for your
Anderson
dad?
Valley? Is that north?
It's north. It's
It's,
north of Cloverdale.
North of Cloverdale,
So where's
a little
Cloverdale?
bit past Healdsburg.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is
is
a little bit past Santa Rosa.
which is you should know where Santa Rosa is.
Prayers
Yes.
to Santa Rosa.
Yeah. So Boonville's awesome. Everybody loves that trip. We can talk a little bit about the basketball.
Before we keep going, we were just joined by
we were just joined by Tommy Yates.
Welcome.
He's gonna come
Thank you,
talk to us
guys.
some college football with
Thank you.
us.
Thanks for having me on the
Expert
show.
Expert analysis. But yeah, so just to give you a rundown of the basketball tournament, I'm also on the basketball team, so I'll just give you a pretty quick rundown. Basically, the boys played really well. The first two games kind of just knocked them out right away. I don't want to get into too specific details. Then we played a team with a lot of height, not the most skilled team, but a lot of height and a lot of length. A lot of shots were blocked.
Physical.
Yeah, they're a very physical team. We had some bloody eyes. We had some technical foul handed out in that game. We had it all, honestly.
Wow.
Victor, our Serbian star, scored the same amount of points as Juice. But we won that game. And then in the final, our Serbian star scored 35 and
Pulled in 17 boards.
Yeah, pulled down 17 boards. Some of the other bigs got into foul trouble, so we went with our depth small lineup, and they certainly wreaked havoc on the Knights of Stewart Hall. That's to say the least. Anyways, the boys basketball won Boonville. It was lit. They go to Monterey next weekend, play two very tough teams. Former Division II state finalists, I believe, from last year, NorCal finals, Palma High School. Very, very good team. So it should be a good test. Anyways, enough with Branson Sports. We're here to talk about college football. It's bowl season officially.
Wonderful time of the year.
It is the best time of the year. We've got the whole bowl schedule out. The playoff has been set.
Before we start, just because there might be a little bias between all these people because of our fan base, we're gonna go around and say who we support.
Yes,
just in
state
case
your teams. I'll start. I'm a UCLA Bruins and a Florida State Seminole lover.
He's also, I will say, he will have a little bias towards Oklahoma.
I am okay. Yes, and that is justified
Yeah.
because I was the first person, maybe in the whole media in the nation, to say that Bake was the next big thing.
By Bake, he means Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield,
Heisman candidate.
number 6, Heisman Trophy, going to be winner. All right, so Demian, what teams do you support?
I ride with the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Brooks?
So I am a die-hard Stanford and Texas A&M fan.
Tommy?
I follow the California Golden Bears.
But there's no reason for any bias because they are not in a bowl game, and they are horrible. Okay, so sorry all Cal fans out there. That's my UCLA bias kicking in. Anyway, so we're going to talk about the playoff first. Aidan, I know, we're going to do this actually like they do with the College Football Playoff Committee. You're going to have to recuse yourself when talking about Ohio State because there might be some bias. So we're going to talk about...
Trust me.
We're going to talk about the Georgia-Oklahoma game first.
Wow.
Because you're allowed to speak on that.
Yeah, I am.
What's your, we're going to go around. What are your predictions?
First off, just like to recognize Georgia's great season, but I'm going to have to go with Oklahoma on this one. I think Baker Mayfield is too seasoned, too lethal. The weapons he has around him are going to be too much for the Bulldogs to handle. Love Jake Fromm out of Warner Robins, Georgia. Love the guy. Has a great
6'2" product.
Great freshman campaign. Look forward to watching him in coming years, but I'm going to have to ride with
the
vet and the Sooners on this one.
Yeah. Brooks, what do you think?
So my take on this game is the classic interconference game that we're going to see a very physical SEC team with we'll say the second best defensive defense in the league.
I like that.
Behind Clemson, which is just unbelievable. But I think that defensive line is going to give Baker Mayfield absolute fits because he will have to throw the ball quicker than he has all season. Although they did play against Ohio State, correct, in the first.
They did.
The Buckeyes gave him good look. The Buckeyes defense is very formidable.
Yeah.
And Baker carved him up.
But once they find their first SEC team of the year, I think they will be in a lot of trouble. I think they'll be in a lot of trouble, especially in the first half.
I don't think they're going to know what they're coming up against.
Tommy?
I think kind of like a underlying theme for this is that I just don't think SEC teams really play well when traveling to the West Coast. I think that's a major factor.
That's a hot take.
Major
That's a
factor
toasty take.
playing to the Rose Bowl. Oklahoma, they play teams kind of in the mid region, and so they're kind of used to playing in that time zone.
Yeah.
But Georgia's gonna have long travel all the way from Athens. I think that's gonna be a major factor. But I think Georgia still gonna show up, and it's gonna be a close game. I think Jake Fromm, great quarterback, but I think Baker Mayfield's gonna step up and lead the team.
Yeah, so
victory.
I'm going to say this, I've watched a lot of college football this year, I don't want to say I'm, the expert, on this, but I've watched a lot of Oklahoma football this year. And I've watched a lot of Oklahoma football the last couple of years. And here's a couple statistics for you to think about. Oklahoma over the last 5 seasons versus SEC opponents is 4-0. And they've won those games on average by 15 points.
Didn't they beat? Was it?
They beat Auburn last year in the Sugar Bowl, just thrashed them.
Yeah.
Baker had a great game. I think that people buy into this whole, Georgia's got the best defense. I will say their linebacker, I can't remember his name, but that man is damn good at football.
Which team?
Georgia linebacker. He is something Davis, maybe Raekwon Davis. I want to say. I don't know.
I was watching him in the SEC championship.
Raekwon Smith. Yeah, that man is good at football. And he is that matchup versus Baker is going to be phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's like the best linebacker
That's the best
or something.
linebacker award.
Yeah. But I think Mayfield, third best passing offense, top 20 rushing offense, probably the number 1 offense overall. Rodney Anderson, breakout campaign. Marquise Hollywood Brown, as Gus Johnson likes to say. I think they're just going to run by Georgia. I think Oklahoma defense is playing a lot better lately. This is just, it seems to me a lot like Deshaun Watson last year. This is just Mayfield's year. I think he's got the experience, and I think it's just his year. I think the Sooners actually win the whole thing. I think they beat Georgia, even though the Rose Bowl is going to be packed with Dogs fans. I can tell you that. They're going to travel well. A lot of red in that game.
Yeah.
A lot of red and a lot of white.
Just one more point.
Yeah.
I think what's really interesting, that I want to see in this game, is how a Big 12 defense matches up against good running backs. Because Nick Chubb, one of the best running backs in college football, and Big 12 pass-heavy conference. They love to air it out, especially teams like TCU, Oklahoma State, especially. So I just want to see how the Oklahoma defense, steps up to stop Chubb and co at the line.
All right, so we're going to talk about the next game. Clemson, Alabama, the trilogy, people are calling it. It's pretty special that you get something like this. And I'll be honest, I really don't know how good Alabama is. It's hard to tell. A lot of debate about who should have been that fourth team. But I really think that this is special that we get to see Clemson, Alabama, the third time. Last year was such a great game. The year before that was arguably just as great. This year it's a new cast of Clemson kids. Kelly Bryant, trying to make a name for himself. He's pretty spectacular. They've got good running backs. Some of the same receivers: Hunter Renfrow, Deion Kane, Ray McLeod. And this is kind of the same Alabama team that it is every year. Overrated quarterback, really good defense, and Nick Saban.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we're not going to really talk about the debate between Ohio State and Alabama because I don't really know. I don't really have a say on that, and I don't really want Aidan to get all fired up. So we're just say, who do you think Alabama, Clemson? Who do you got?
I got Clemson.
Clemson.
Defense is peaking at the right time. Kelly Bryant's a better quarterback than what's his name Hurts.
Yeah, my arm hurts.
Yeah, his arm must hurt.
Yeah.
He is so bad.
He is a poor quarterback.
Yeah, Clemson in a blowout win.
Brooks.
This is a tough one for me because I do have a lot of respect. I think that Alabama deserved the number 4 spot over the 2 behind just because they're just filled with unbelievable players, and I think they would beat those 2 teams behind them.
I think so too. Wisconsin's bad.
Yeah,
I don't really understand.
'Cause
That's another point. Why was Wisconsin number 6? That just to me doesn't make a whole lot
A
of
little
sense.
too high, you think?
I think a little too high. I just think
I thought
USC should have been.
slipping there.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
It ultimately doesn't matter because all the
I know,
New
totally.
Year's Six
I know
bowl
it
games
doesn't matter.
are lit. So
Yeah,
Those are
I know.
great games.
I know it
Yeah,
doesn't
they're also
matter,
good
but
ones.
I really don't like that they did not put a Pac-12 championship in that top 6 because the Pac-12 is a very, very competitive conference,
Deep.
and although they don't have the best records because they just beat each other up all year, one of them,
And they play
which should have
those-
been USC,
those-
deserved to be. In
Yeah,
that
we're gonna
top
start.
six
This is
spot.
gonna be our first big thing on the Toasty Take podcast. We're gonna start the hashtag ban Friday night football games.
Yes.
In the Pac-12.
I love
And,
that.
and can we also start
Hashtag 8-game conference schedules instead of the 9,
The 9's
or make the SEC play the 9.
Can we also
Some of
say
the cupcakes.
Can we also say hashtag no more 7:30 games that nobody
Watches.
west of the Mississippi watches?
I'd say west of the Rocky Mountains,
Yeah.
or east of the Rocky Mountains watches. Yeah,
Or,
it's
yeah.
just too late.
yeah. It's horrible.
I don't even like to go to
I
them.
don't like to go to them either.
All right, Tommy.
Even though I
Quick,
watch them.
quick, 20-second. Clemson, Alabama.
Uh,
I actually never get my take. Clemson's gonna win because their defense is
All right,
just
Clemson,
so
Alabama. Tommy,
All
go.
right,
We got more
Alabama,
stuff to talk about.
I just can't really figure them out. They've played absolutely no one. I mean, you're calling LSU their best win. LSU and Oregon, they lost to Troy.
Yeah.
I don't see it. I don't see anything. I
So
think
you're going
Ohio,
Clemson.
I think Ohio State should be in. Alabama now, since they're going to be motivated, but I still think Clemson wins.
Okay.
Clemson wins.
So is that 4-0? Is that 4? Clemson 0?
I think Alabama's favored in Vegas, so that tells me I should bet on Alabama. So
Nope.
they are favored in Vegas. They're giving 1 point as of this morning.
We're going to the Bear on college game.
Yeah, so I don't really know. I don't really know what to do about that. That really rattled my cage. The FBI says, the FPI, that is the Football Power Index, says Bama's a favored team. I think Jalen Hurts is terrible. Doesn't turn the ball over, I guess, which is nice. But I think Alabama. I think Alabama wins this one. I think Alabama wins this one. I think Calvin Ridley makes a play to save Bama's season.
Really?
I think so.
What happened last time Alabama was in the Sugar Bowl?
They beat
They-
Washington.
They lost to Ohio State, I believe, in the college football playoff 3 years ago, which nobody really cares about anymore because that was a long time ago.
So
All right,
just remember that came from an Ohio.
that came from Ohio State,
Can we
man.
just go around? I think the bowl schedule this year is amazing. By the way,
Yeah.
I'd like to just could everyone give their favorite?
That was my next question. Your favorite? You're allowed to give 2 bowl games. You're allowed to give one if it's one of the New Year's Six, like Power Bowls, Orange Bowl, Cotton Bowl, non-playoff. Rose Bowl's part of the playoff this year. Peach Bowl or Fiesta Bowl, and you have to give a New Year's Six bowl game that you're gonna love, or you can give 2 non-ones.
I got 2.
Brooks Hoffman.
So first, although I do have the Stanford bias, the Stanford.
And I want a 20-second take on why I should watch it. 20 seconds at most
Okay.
on why I should watch this game.
Okay. The Stanford versus TCU.
It's the Alamo Bowl.
And why should I watch?
This is why you should watch. Bryce Love, second in the Heisman race. He has been battling a sprained ankle all year, and if you watch, which nobody does watch because it's at 7:30 at night, no one wants to watch. After every play, he pretty much crawls off the field because he can't walk. He's going to have 3 weeks to recover from this, and he's going to be at full strength, and it'll be the first game since maybe week 4 that he'll be at full strength, and he will rush for 200-plus yards.
All right. Tommy.
Wait, can I go my second?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, second game.
My second game. Just saw this, and I'm very excited. Washington versus Penn State.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
That's going to be a
That's
really
that's
good
the
game.
Is that the Peach Bowl this year, I believe?
I don't know.
No, that's the Fiesta Bowl. Yeah.
But December 30th, Penn State is projected to win by 3. I think Washington might shock some people. They've got some really good players.
Tommy.
Okay, I have 2. The first, to kick off bowl season, the Celebration Bowl.
Oh.
It's a great time.
It is.
We have North Carolina A&T versus Grambling State. The only reason to watch is the halftime show not presented, but by the Grambling State band. Cal, the football team, played them, I believe, 2 or 3 years ago. The greatest halftime show I've ever seen.
Their band is well renowned.
Is electric.
It's electric.
And,
Second bowl game.
I'm gonna go. It is the San Diego Credit Union Holiday Bowl. Number 18 Washington State versus number 16 Michigan State at the, I think it's Qualcomm Stadium in San Diego. I love these Big Ten Pac-12 matchups. I think it's 2 different offenses, and I really hope that Washington State comes out on top. I think Luke Falk is going to be motivated.
The biggest Luke Falk fan I know is actually Aidan Demian.
Yes.
So Aidan, what's your bowl game to watch?
Well, Tommy took mine. I'm gonna have to go Dollar General Green Bowl. Appalachian State versus Toledo. I'm an Ohio guy. Toledo's close to my home in Ohio.
They won the MAC, I believe, this year.
Yeah,
the MACtion, baby. Good time MACtion.
So, please look at that game. It's 7 p.m. BSBN on December 23rd.
Yeah, so my bowl game that you have to watch is also on December 23rd. We got Texas Tech versus USF. That is Southern Florida in the Birmingham Bowl. And there's going to be a lot of points in this game. Texas Tech plays 0 defense. USF plays negative defense. It is going to be an absolute shootout. Nick Shimanek versus Quentin Flowers. If you love points, you got to watch this game. I'm excited for it. My other bowl game, I'm actually really excited for this UCF Auburn game. Scott Frost going home to Nebraska. That's actually a huge deal. Auburn is going to be with a healthy Kerryon Johnson, but I actually think UCF is going to win this game. Mm-hmm. I think Mackenzie Milton has the ugliest throwing motion I've ever seen, maybe next to Phillip Rivers. He's a 5'10" quarterback, but he puts up points and he puts up yards. I think it's going to be a great game.
I'm gonna add one more. It's the Independence Bowl on December 27th.
Who is that between?
And I'm saying this just for our host Alec, because if we tune in, we are going to watch the Southern Mississippi Golden Eagles. They're going to beat the Florida State Seminoles by 20.
Let's go Eagles.
I beg to differ.
Oh, best name of bowl season?
Yeah.
Cherry Bundy Tart Cherry Stone Bowl.
Yeah. That is one great thing about bowl season are the names of some of these bowls. The famous Idaho Potato Bowl.
Oh, that's a classic.
That's always a great one. Josh Allen, Wyoming quarterback, could be the quarterback of your future NFL, or your NFL team.
The Browns.
Yeah, could be the Browns quarterback, one of the next 100.
Just to add, ESPN has, for the Independence Bowl, it starts off with the Walk-Ons Independence Bowl.
Walk-Ons Independence Bowl. Don't really know
what that means.
Maybe it's for funding for scholarships for walk-ons.
Yeah, I don't.
That would be incredible.
I'm not really sure what it is, but yeah, I'll be watching that game. Florida State, go Noles. We're looking for a new coach. Willie Taggart, if you're listening for some reason, please go to Tallytown. We're waiting for you.
Another one, the Academy Sports Plus Outdoors Texas Bowl, which is happening.
So this is one thing I wanted to talk about. This is what I wanted to talk about. This is what most people don't know. In that bowl game, the Texas Bowl, there's a football game named after the state of Texas, which is probably the biggest football state in America. Yeah. If you look, who is playing in that game? It's Texas versus Missouri, right?
It is. Yeah.
That game, was between either Texas versus Missouri or Texas versus Texas A&M.
Why wasn't Texas?
They chose Missouri over A&M, and I am honestly
A&M
angry
played
about
Wake
this.
Forest.
I am angry about this. And as Brooks Hoffman knows, he's a diehard Aggie fan.
I was at the last.
The last
versus
Texas A&M is it might be the greatest rivalry in college football.
You have to be.
And it hasn't been. It's not played anymore because A&M moved to the SEC. And this game was about to happen. It was about to happen. I was reading, Aggies, Longhorns, Texas Bowl. Honestly, that would have been bigger than the national championship.
Oh, totally.
And I'm upset that it's not happening. Brooks, you get the final word on this.
So I will say, maybe one reason they aren't doing it is to actually build up a little suspense, because I do have some inside scoop on the Aggie community, and apparently they are trying to make this matchup an out-of-conference matchup for 4 years starting 2021, I want to say. 2020 or 2021, because they do have that. They have an open slot, and they're going to try to make it happen, and that would be magical.
Yeah. All right. So coming to the end of this first Toasty Take, I just want to give a shout out to Tiger Woods. Brooks just reminded me. Shout out Tiger Woods for
Finished ninth.
With an 8 under, tied for 9th.
He beat names of Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka,
You know what I love about
Justin
golf?
Thomas.
Nobody cares who won that tournament.
It was Ricky Fowler.
Ricky Fowler. If
anyone knew.
I honestly had no idea that Ricky Fowler
Didn't know either.
won because all I saw was Tiger Woods wearing that red on Sunday, and God dang it, that brought a tear to my eye. It brought me back to the Masters in 2007 or whatever year that was, and he hit that shot.
Alec and I were watching during lunch, and there were actually some tears.
Yeah.
On that, Thursday.
And it brought back tears to my eyes. So shout out Tiger Woods.
Fun fact.
Shout out NFL playoffs coming around in the near future. Another great week 13 was brought some great games. And yeah, so we're gonna give what's your closing statement? 20 seconds, and then we got to go. Closing statement about sports this last week. It can be about college football. It can be about anything. It could be about your life or school work. I don't care. What's your closing statement for today? Aidan, start us off.
Watch Colin Young Bull Sexton ball this year in college basketball, Alabama guard.
I like that. Brooks?
I'm gonna add on that. If you hadn't already heard, he had one of the most spectacular performances I've ever seen when they were forced to play 3 versus 5, and they almost won. So that was incredible. If you haven't looked at it, look it up. It's pretty incredible to watch.
Tommy?
Boys soccer, big game today. MA at Com 3:15. I would recommend
Show
coming out.
Yeah, my closing statement on this first episode of Toasty Takes. First off, I'd like to thank again BSBN for sponsoring this, and thank you to everyone who tunes in. Hopefully, we can get some more fun people on the show. My closing take is Baker Mayfield. That's all I got to say.
All right.
Be ready, be excited. Heisman Trophy coming his way. If you haven't looked up his antics at Kansas yet, I highly recommend it for a good laugh, even though it's pretty raunchy. All right. Go Bulls.
Go Bulls.
And, thank you, everyone.